because these are some interesting fucking things that are happening here.
Okay.
Just now. Lee and I, when we first started doing the podcast, we started in my apartment. I had an extra bedroom. And then, and this is not, I'm not hating on Lee, people. Lee knows what I'm about to tell you, people. And then Lee got an apartment, and it was a 2-bedroom, and we do the podcast out of his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Lee. Lee has come over my home. Lee knows my family. Lee could come to my home whenever he wants. He knows that.
Yeah.
I know from doing the podcast that year in Lee's apartment and how he acted that I have never been back to one of Lee's apartments. Not because he's a bad person. He's always hosted me. He always had Diet Cokes for me. His apartment was clean. Nothing.
Okay.
I just know Lee. I know from me being who I am that Lee, there's people who want you at their house. There's people who love open up the door, going, come in, sit down, take your shoes off, put your feet on the table, eat, get there. There's people who are naturals at that.
Yeah.
There's people who are fucking naturals at that.
They want to entertain.
I wish I could be one of those people. Okay? So when, just that relationship of me going to Lee's home in the mornings to do his podcast, and at one time there was a girl sleeping on his couch.
Oh.
I could see that, the effect of when that girl moved out on Lee. And I tried to tell him, not because I'm a hater, before Lee told me he was going to let his girlfriend move in, I go, Lee, from a standpoint of a fucking old man that reads people and is a loner. Remember, guys, I was a loner. You put me in my room by myself as a kid, I was an only child. As long as I got a fucking record player and a TV, but something happened to me in 1987. In 1986, something interesting happened to me. And I'll admit this on the air right now. And it's called something, but it affected me in a different way. It's called cabin fever.
Okay.
The same thing that happened to the guy in The Shining.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened is in Aspen, the spring of '86, my girlfriend, who became my wife, said, it's the off season. Everybody loses their job. So instead of sitting, all the restaurants close.
Right.
Wow.
Everything closes. I mean, it goes from being heavy duty, fucking people jumping off cliffs with bikinis on, to April 15th,
Nothing.
like nothing. Like from traffic to 6 cars. And the only thing that stays open is a supermarket. At least this is how it was in '86. All that would stay open, Lee, was a supermarket for limited hours. Because all there was left was the residents of that town.
People who worked at the ski.
So instead of there being 9 bars now, there was a hotel with 1 bar open. And that's the way it was till mid-June. Then the bicycle races came and the hot air balloons came. And then it became people come back up.
Yeah.
But this is 6-week span, Lee, that I had to work 3 hours a day, some days, just to open up the video store. And I could look you guys in the face and tell you that there were days I wouldn't even open the door. The door, this is no drugs. This is me smoking popping video after video in the movies. Video after video.
Just watching movies.
Yeah, pissing and shitting in between, eating something in between, making a shake.
Yeah.
I did that.
You could do that back then.
I did that for 6 weeks.
Well, it's like a film festival.
And it had been really weird because before that, I lived in New York and I had a hustle. And I was out of the house every day by 8 o'clock, stealing, selling drugs, stealing fucking tampons and selling them on the New York side to bodegas up in Washington Heights. I was just a fucking, and those 6 weeks affected me. I started to twist a little bit. I started to get bad thoughts, not suicidal. Of coming back and murdering my stepdad and just bullshit, dumb stuff. So from those 6 weeks, I learned one thing for my personal mental health. It was always good for me. Get up, cup of coffee, go to your balcony, hit your joint twice.
Yep.
Get your head together.
Yep.
Write out a plan for your day, what you want to accomplish for the day, like in written form in a paragraph. Today I feel great. I got 8 hours of sleep, blah, 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 blah. and take a shower and get out of the house, even if you have nowhere to go.
And make your bed, actually.
It's so healthy for you. But if you look at the questionnaire for depression, it starts with that being alone and not getting your hand forced.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm not crying, but
you're getting your hand forced to do something. A lot of people don't like their hand forced.
When you say hand forced,
if you get a roommate, you can't do what you usually do, act like a fucking gavone and just sit on the couch all day and watch videos.
Okay.
Now you have a roommate. Lee made a point that he's been living alone, but if he had a roommate, maybe he'd get out of the house more. I believe in getting out of the fucking house. I think the sun has amazing powers. I think the air has amazing power. You know, there's some days I'm feeling ho-hum, and I know exactly what it is. I haven't jumped in the shower.
It's proven walking is beneficial for you, for your brain, for your body, for everything.
Things.
So there's no the only thing somebody would say about walking, you should be doing more. You should be then turn it into a hike. The bottom line is walking helps anybody. If it's helping you, and especially as a performer. Yeah, just mentally, I go out and I walk, and a lot of the creative ideas come from when people walk. I do my periscopes when I'm walking. I check in with people, and then luckily we're here in Southern California, we have that sunlight. So I do, at least I'm doing that. I always say, like, I'm not a couch potato. I'm checking in. Even if I'm doing another periscope and I'm playing drums, I'm sitting on a Swiss ball. I'm exercising. So I'm trying to at least, show people like being active. And if I don't do a periscope or, I don't do an Instagram video, people are going to go, hey, Brody, what's up? So they kind of, it still doesn't beat having an actual physical person with you. It's a little bit of an AI thing when you have relationships with your audience members that you actually don't even hear their voices. So you do need that human interaction. And part of it is having guests on a podcast. I mean, I got to the point where I wasn't even booking guests on podcasts. It was just me and, the mic and the camera. And it's like, I need to be around people. So I've made the concerted effort. I think the last couple months or so is like, be social, put the effort out, and get out of your head. Just so, and I see results. I got to at least try.
I mean, listen,
I like it.
You have to be in your head to be self-conscious. But I don't want you to be self-conscious that you destroy yourself. From 79 to 85, walking was my psychiatrist. Walking with and without an iPad on, whatever. What did you call those?
A Walkman.
Walkman.
Discman, Walkman.
I walked miles, and that was my psychiatry.
Mm-hmm.
I would just walk.
Get your steps in.
Walk. I didn't do it for health reasons. It was the psychiatry I had. I had to break down what had just happened in my life and how I was going to make my future better.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be smoking a joint and walking from Cliffside Park to fucking Englewood and back. 6 miles or something. A retardation. Just wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
I was what's that called? Procrastinating?
Yeah, that's what I do.
I was also breaking it down, what had just happened, and I was breaking down my next attack. And I finally had the balls, and it took me, and I launched in 85. That was my attack, but that was a year of walking.
So you were walking before you were doing stand-up?
Stand-up wasn't even in my future.
Okay.
Prison was in my future at that time.
Gotcha.
And I was a walker, walking away. Like if I lived here, I would walk towards fucking, Sunland every day, on a slant with an iPod. I would force myself to walk by myself. No cell phone in your pocket, no calls, and break down what had just happened in my life. The death of my mother, how I was going to survive. Was I going to go to vocational school? Was I going to go to college?
Mm-hmm.
Was I going to get my GED? How was I going to, it was just a constant walking was my psychiatrist. Today I got up this morning early. There was no school today. So me and my wife had to share duties. So I got up this morning, hung out with her early, watched television, and then at 9 I went to my Muay Thai little conditioning class.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember before I walked in, I got to the 8:45, I just stood there by my car for 4 minutes, and I just soaked in the sun.
Mm-hmm. Vitamin D.
And naturally, I said to myself, just being outside is helping me. Mm-hmm. You know, I always tell people that you could take private lessons or you could be in a class setting. And I'd much rather be in a class setting so I have relationships with different people in that class, because I'm the type of guy that I could get up at 8, go to Marie T, and sit there writing till 1, and then go home, go to your office, get on social media for an hour, return emails, and then talk to my wife, talk to my kid, and I could stay home. Mm-hmm. And I could do that for 3 or 4 nights in a row. And that sucks dick. That makes me go crazy. So the reason why I call in for spots at the Comedy Store is to force me to get off my ass and go down there, because you can't cancel.
No.
So you have to go down there. When I'm driving back from the Comedy Store, I feel so satisfied at the end of the day that I accomplished my mission for the day.
Even if you have a bad set?
Even if I have a bad set. It's not about a bad set for a guy like me. It's about the same 2 things you guys are talking about. Human contact.
Yeah. That's
human contact.
You need it. We're human beings.
10 Planet Kush, it drains the lactic motherfucking acid. People won't cop to it. The health specialists say, no, that doesn't happen, Joey. Yes, it fucking does. I got friends in Harvard, bitch. I'm like Garth Brooks. I got friends in high places, motherfuckers.